welcome everyone. It's amazing for us to be able to talk about this project, which is the Curious Cabinet Project. We're going to be talking to you just a run through about what we've been doing, and we want to introduce you to some of the books that are now going to be taken away and repaired. The Curious Cabinet Project is working with a collection of about 90 books and manuscripts. All we knew when we began was that there were 90, more or less, books in a cupboard. The cupboard is in the treasury of the Charterhouse archive, which is a medieval part of the building. We knew that this collection was vulnerable and neglected, and it was inaccessible completely to the people that use it. No one knew even what was in it. And inside, some of the books had been wrapped up previously, but nothing was even labelled.
The reason we've set up today is to kind of share with the community where we're at, what we're working on. And also, they've been such a part of it as well. We've had drop-in sessions throughout with the brothers and with the creative writing team. So yeah, it really is to share with them and also to get feedback from them as well at the stage they're at with their own project.
We are so excited to be doing this at the Charterhouse. We have had Bibles which have been sitting in the cupboard in the treasury for so many years that have been untouched. And so we are just so happy to have Anne-Marie and Sam come in and give them a new lease of life.
So our main aims of the project were to create a survey, preventive care, deliver training, do some more interventive conservation, promote access, outreach and long-term care, and also just promoting conservation and kind of getting people to think about it in their collections. So yeah, we did find lots of curious things in our cabinet. So we found some early photos of the Charterhouse which have been reproduced, but we don't know if these were the original ones. We also found some theatrical programmes and photographs, precious personal photos tucked inside Bibles, some cartoons, some punch cartoons, and then a personal favourite of mine. So it says, friends are like books, however they are dressed, new ones are good and old ones are the best.
So part of the purpose behind the project is not just we come in and do a kind of super zap of the collection, but also that we're passing on that knowledge and training.
One of the things I've really enjoyed looking at this collection is looking at the different dates and like applying my background in history to having a look at these different dates in there, because it tells you just so much about the society of the time and that tangible connection to history and heritage, which has been such a huge delight.
We're really keen to promote how people safely handle the collections that they know and care for.
I don't think I was really prepared going in, the amount of preparation work you've got to do. I just thought, okay, just pick up the book, just dust it down and then put it on the side. No, there's sponges and then like, it's dusting down the pages and assessing what kind of leather it is, so on and so forth. So, huge learning curve.
So here's a picture of the cupboard just before conservation began. So we moved the volumes shelf by shelf. We created a survey of the whole collection, recording the condition, the binding style, the title, the date, the decorations and the materials. And then Jack and I surface cleaned each of them and consolidated any friable leather, so any leather that was coming off the surface, just consolidated that, and then rehoused all of them in their own boxes. So this was done over 12 days, spread over 4 weeks, and every week we had drop-in sessions from the brothers, which was one of the highlights, and it was wonderful, yeah, seeing you interact with your own collection. And also the creative writing group drop-in session. It was wonderful to see how you're taking the book's physicality, because that's why I love books, because they're mechanical, they're objects, and they tell stories, and you were kind of bringing that out and bringing in your own, which was a lovely combination to see.
The cupboard itself has been cleaned inside and out. It's been lined with archival material that's all made to fit. Everything's quite snug in there, and also everything's been reboxed. So every single volume has a bespoke box.
Cool, so kind of what we found. So there were 84 books in the cupboard. And again, as we said, all clean, consolidated and rehoused. And this is the current condition now after we've treated the kind of remedial conservation treatment.
The pie charts are great because they really just show that with this short intervention of 12 days on site, we've already got it to that middle stage. And then just by targeting our interventive conservation, the repair of individual objects, we can then improve the overall condition really significantly because we've targeted it at exactly the worst ones. What you do is to gather this so that any collection care policy or investment that goes forward can be really targeted at the worst parts. This project is really exciting because it gives us an opportunity to not only talk about it, but also inspire other work and get people really thinking.
I was asked to involve the community, and it's evolved as it's gone along, which has been really exciting. So we have responded to what has been found. It was very important to make this as accessible as possible. So of course it's Bibles and prayer books, and we're not going to ignore that. But I also wanted to think about the Bibles and prayer books, as precious objects. What do we look after in our own lives and why? What do we preserve and conserve? So it's just as much about the people involved in the project and what they bring to it. We're finding out more about the people that lived here, but also it's living history, isn't it? Because we're working with the brothers that are living here now, as well as our community members. So for me, that's what's been important and exciting about this project.
I was asked to have a look at this scrapbook full of information on music, and I consulted with our organist, and he said, that looks to me as if it comes from a magazine called Musical Times, which had been published since 1844. And so I went through it and worked out slowly what period this person who put these scraps in and compiled this scrapbook, what period he must have been here. And so I've still got quite a few tasks yet to do to carry on the research.
What drew me to the project is the connections between old and new. I love books and I have a scrapbook of my own. This is one of the connections, and it made me think of like my family and connect with it.
This is an album of my father's war photos in Burma. Modelling myself on Sam, I've looked at it much more carefully now, thinking about how I found it, what I assumed it to be, and what it now appears to be.
The creative writing has been amazing, and one of the creative writing that we did is that what would you put in the cabinet and why would you put it in there? And one thing that I said is put my secret diary. I basically wrote a poem about my secret diary and why I would put that in there. So my poem is called My Secret Diary, the thing that no mortal should ever read, not even if they so close to plead. My thoughts from within, my secrets that lie within, I never tell, let alone yell of the wonders that reside. That is the source of my pride. This is for me alone, only for me. This is my secret diary.
It's been fascinating because when we opened the cupboard and found all these things, this question that, why do we want to preserve things? Why do we want to conserve them? If they're falling to bits, ditch them, But why do we bother to conserve things? Because it's part of our history, part of what's gone on here since 1611. When we think of this Bible here going back to the 1700s, not because it's not been used, but because it was well made. So it is important, and we've learned a lot, and I think we're going to learn more, and I look forward to seeing these returned.
Absolutely fascinating event. So much is special about the Charterhouse. There's so much history here. We're spoiled rotten, really. The opportunity to see something and touch something which dates back to 1750 is enormously special.
So we've finished the on-site working, we've done the survey, we've done a kind of remedial conservation of all the bindings. And at this point we're about to take the ones that we've identified as being the most vulnerable or the most in need of treatment back to the workshop.
Some of them need small things doing that will make a big difference to them, and others there'll be quite a dramatic transformation. Their treatment will be proposed and agreed, and it will be documented. Everything will be photographed before and after and during if something really interesting happens. But we'll also be feeding back to the trustees of Charterhouse, and there'll be the performance of the creative writing group as well. It's been an incredible project, and it's been such an honour being involved with all these different aspects of the work. Our appreciation of the collection has really grown because of the interest that everyone's shown in it. So thank you so much for coming.